The Royal Succession Bill, and the question is that, hello, a point of order. Jamie Lee Ross.
Mr Chair, I seek leave for all parts of the Royal Succession Bill to be taken as one question.
Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there anyone opposed to that course of action? Appears not. Leave is granted. So the question now is that parts 1 and 2 and clauses 1 and 2 stand part. Andrew Little.
Chairman, I'm pleased to take a brief call on this, the committee stages of the Royal Succession Bill, noting, of course, that in addition to this being an important piece of legislation in its own right, notwithstanding our concerns about the monarchical theme of it, it is, of course, the last day of Parliament sitting for this calendar year. And it is not uncalled for, in fact, on occasions such as this, for there to usually be some cheap and tacky reference to the zeitgeist. What? And so last year, when I was called upon to speak on a bill on the last day of the sitting year, at a time when a dance style known as Gangnam was very popular, I managed to weave that into my contribution to a very important piece of legislation on that occasion. And so, having sat through now the second reading of this particular piece of legislation, Mr Chairman, I am somewhat surprised that when that cultural item that leads our zeitgeist today, the song Royals by our very own Ella Yelich O'Connor, who trades under the name of Lord, all very entirely appropriate at this time of the year and on this occasion. No reference has been made in this, the Royal Succession Bill, to that very thematic piece of music. And so it would be wrong for us for this bill to pass through this House at this time in our history, both constitutional and monarchical, but also cultural, without an appropriate reference to that very important piece of cultural expression, that is to say, the song Royals. And I'm going to reassure Maurice Williamson that I'm not going to sing it. But that is as far as my promise goes. No. I do, however, want to say, because I think, when we are talking about a piece of legislation that is correcting an historical level of discrimination against Roman Catholics, against firstborn women or girls, that I think we should note that in the lyrics, particularly the chorus of Royals, would be very reflective, I think, of Roman Catholic young people who aspired to marrying into the royal family. They would have been left saying, "And we'll never be royals," because it don't run in our blood. That kind of luck just ain't for us. We crave for a different kind of buzz. That's the claim to republicanism that is being made in Royals. And of course, it would be left to the monarch of the day to have to say, "Let me be your ruler. You can call me Queen Bee. And baby, I'll rule, I'll rule, I'll rule." Judith Collins finds that very attractive, I'm sure. And I don't want to draw reference to her leadership aspirations, but that might be her theme song. When we see that being played out at the next National Party conference, we'll know that it's all on. But, Mr Chairman, on this occasion, I want to say that it is right, in this very small, sort of funny sort of way, at this time in our constitutional history, that we should correct these anomalies, these discriminatory practices within the royal family. And very nice for the royal family to deign to have us and other parts of the realm pass legislation to remove these acts of discrimination. But it does leave that funny taste in the mouth to say, maybe it's time we need to go a little further and break out on our own. And on that note, Mr Chairman, we will continue, that musical note, in fact, we will continue to support this bill in its final passage.
Mr Chair.
Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr Chair, I'll just take a short call on this. Look, it's not usual for me to agree with Andrew Little, and I'm not going to break the habit of a lifetime and start now. I just want to correct a couple of things here that have been said today. The first is that actually the Queen is the Queen of New Zealand for us, and she's the Queen of Great Britain, UK, when she's there, but for us, she's our Queen. I'd also like to just remind the Green Party member who spoke before and after much impassioned rhetoric then decided to abstain, that actually it does not do any good for the status of the Treaty of Waitangi in New Zealand to then try and belittle the history of the Crown, the monarchy, and actually the establishment of New Zealand. I think that we should all just remember that this is, in fact, a partnership between the Crown and the iwi of New Zealand. It is not a partnership that went anywhere other than that. It was, in fact, that important. And, in fact, some of the strongest supporters of the monarchy in New Zealand are, in fact, Maori, because of that historical relationship. I think it doesn't help us in New Zealand to forget where this Parliament came from. Actually, it came from a tradition that started in the UK. And we may well talk about